Welcome back to the Design Studio. Today I'm going to show you how to create a high impact, low budget background for your next event. So the inspiration to this process was creating a backdrop for an event or for a window display or anywhere in your store that is relatively inexpensive but high impact. As I'm sure you're aware, wallpaper is making a huge comeback to the country right now. Everybody's using it. And I have been obsessed with wallpaper. This is the one we're using for this project. Something I want to point out is what I found early on when I was looking at wallpapers is don't go for the cheapest one because the repetition and the pattern is so quickly and it actually looks like stickers on a wall. Go, like this is mid-grade, and you will have more of a story. So when we finish a project, you'll see what I'm talking about. Two types of wallpaper. There is the self-adhesive back that has the glue, traditional wallpaper that you would water it down and glue it on, or there's the peel and stick wallpaper. I've used peel and stick for some other things, such as putting them on vases, and that has worked out well. But for this way, I wanted just a nicer wallpaper, so I chose the one that you would normally put water over and it becomes adhesive to the back. So this is the wallpaper we're going to use. It has a little bit of glitter, a little bit of shimmer in there. We still want it to draw attention. And there's two backgrounds that I find that you can use. There is traditional foam core. This is really great for just a display, very temporary. Not a huge investment. It comes in big sheets. The one thing I will say about this is that it does have some bend to it. So you don't really, it's not going to stand erect on its own without some assistance in the background. So, and then we have insulation boards, which are very firm. They're not going to bend and they will stand by themselves. So those are two different types of pieces that you can use for the background of this. So for today, we are going to use the foam core. A couple of things you need: metal ruler, yardstick, and an X-Acto knife. I'm going to be honest with you. I started with a wood one, and when I was cutting, my knife kept cutting into the ruler. So that's not fun. So then I went ahead and spent the $2 extra and bought a metal one that is going to be stable. So don't make that mistake. Go ahead, buy a metal one. And then you would just, cut out your lines, draw it out how big, and just do it this way. Don't worry about pushing your X-Acto knife all the way through. Do a couple of runs over it. And you'll see it's still connected, and you have a little bit of a bend happening. And then what you can do is just take it and cut the back seam off. And then you will get a perfect edge. So don't just try to jam it through and go through, because you're going to actually scratch your surfaces as well. So that's what you would need for that. So once you cut your shape out, you're going to want to put some plastic down on your surface so you don't ruin your surfaces. So I tried it a couple of different ways. I did try the old school way of soaking it, letting the adhesive on the back become sticky, and then using it. I did not like that. I thought it was a bit messy, to be honest. And I didn't know that it would affect the integrity of the foam core by getting it wet. Then I found some spray adhesives. This is the one, Scotch Permanent Spray Adhesive 77 is the best one that I have found. Reason being, number one, is it doesn't adhere immediately, so you have a little bit of time to lift up and reapply, and it doesn't have a horrible odor. So this is a really good one to use, and that's what we're going to use today. So a sample. So this is the piece we're going to cover. I already pre-cut out our picture, our wallpaper. When you're cutting them out, make sure your main part is kind of center. I didn't want to cut it where these flowers would be halfway cut off. I really wanted to see the focal point of it. So when you're doing that, make sure you do that. So then we're just going to take our adhesive. Let me put gloves on. I always wear gloves because it's easier to throw these away than to try to scrub this adhesive off of your hands. Give it a good shake, and what you're going to do is lightly give it a light coat. You don't need a lot. Place your board on, and just like you would wrap a gift, just go ahead and wrap it around. I gave it 24 hours to actually dry when I was doing the big boards before I started manipulating them. See? Really quick way to do it. Great accent. And this is the process that you're going to use when you do these shapes. So we are going to use the copper stands we made in a previous video to hold the panels up. Check out the YouTube channel and you will see, I think this is our most recent one actually we just did. So it should be right below. But it'll show you how to make these gorgeous stands. I'm a big believer in utilizing something more than once and in a different way. That's why we're doing them. To adhere the pieces to the stands, what I used was a piece of shelving, the non-stick shelving, and I just wrapped it around the pole. And then I put a piece of tape to hold it in place. The reason I use this is because it won't slide down the pole, and I didn't want to put any adhesive onto these and damage them, so it protects it. And then we have this Scotch Extreme Velcro. It's better to go strong, so this is what we put here, and I put another piece of Velcro on the back of the panel to attach it to here. So this is one of the panels completed. I did want to point out there is the seam here. If you take a little bit of water and just run water down there, that seam itself will disappear. But that's a gorgeous backdrop, right? So all I'm going to do is just take it and put it onto the Velcro that's already existing back here. And that'll hold it in place. So this is 3 of our panels done, and you can see I really played with space on this. The back center is wider and taller, and I have 2 up in the front to just kind of give you some depth. This is a great background for an event or a selfie wall, or even in your studio. You can really play off of it. Very dramatic. Like I love the wallpaper. I think it's moody and dramatic, and I think it's kind of beautiful. So again, you can move these wherever you want to and really play with it. And imagine if this was a wedding and you had an officiant in the center and the bride and groom here, you can customize this backdrop to be anything that works with your wedding design. So now we've accessorized in front of it, and we have the gorgeous UCI candelabra, amazing containers from Accent Decor, and we used a lot of preserved materials such as the eucalyptus, as well as the moss spheres and some of this great grass. It just adds a bunch of elements to it. We also have artificial eucalyptus, and I also want to point out we made covers for our cubes. We have some cubes underneath to add height, but I wanted to cover them up, and so we made covers, and it brings this pattern all the way down through. So I think it's a beautiful display. It's all preserved. You can definitely put this in your store. Imagine at holidays you can change it out. But I just wanted to add a few more things. I found this amazing permanent botanical eucalyptus. So we're just going to grab it and put it into here. So just grab your vision down past. I also have some gold tassels that we're going to carry down with the eucalyptus here. Put them at different lengths for interest. And then if you wanted to add some fresh product, I just have some vases of Earl Grey roses, Faith, Amnesia, and we're just going to pop these into this vase to add a little bit of color to the focal area. And we have some of the peonies to reflect back to the peony backdrop. And that just adds pops of the color from the backdrop, heavy roses, because that's what you see on the back, as well as the peonies. It looks gorgeous. It ties it all in. The story is complete. And then, you know me, I love color enhancing foliage, usually Plumosa. It's one of my favorites. So for this, I used Design Master Ivory. It just adds a little bit of smoky to it, a little bit of that moody drama. So we're going to add this in. And this kind of just be everywhere, just kind of flowing it out. And this is a great way to sell this to your clients and have it in your store display. Even gonna put some down along the branch. And you'll see in the bowl, I just have some rose heads in there just to grab your eye into it. And by putting this throughout the design, it brings it all together. It incorporates everything. And one final thing I wanted to show you was I took some of the insulation and I just made panels. This is great if you wanted to lift that bowl off the ground. You can set this on the ground, or even if you just wanted to bring it in, you can add a little bit more of the pattern down to the ground. Really, you can play with it in so many different ways. So I hope you enjoy it. I loved creating this for you. Try this in your own store at your next event, and it really is going to be a showstopper. Thank you.